Welcome everyone to the Fall 2020 Chamber Music Workshop final concert. We're presenting today a very special program with works from the Renaissance up to 1958. And before I start sharing with you the performances, I just want to thank my colleagues, Dr. Jackson and Professor Clare Monfredo, for the great work they did coaching the students. And I also want to thank Jacob Sachs Michelin and Malika Holder for the great technical support. Thank you guys. So the first piece today is gonna be by American composer Paul Bowles, and it's a work he wrote in 1931, Sonata for oboe and clarinet. Very interesting work. And Paul Bowles is mostly known as a writer, but he was primarily a composer, or first a composer. And he wrote this Sonata for oboe and clarinet in 1931. So the performers will be Adam Schorr playing the oboe and Jacob Hunt playing the clarinet. Bravo, bravo, bravo. So this was Paul Bowles' Sonata for oboe and clarinet. And the second piece in the program is by Mexican composer Manuel Maria Ponce, who wrote his Trio Romantico in 1912. And you're gonna hear by Ponce the first movement, Allegro energico. And very interesting movement in sonata form, very substantial work by this great composer from Mexico, one of the great Mexican composers of the 20th century. The performers for this trio will be Taka Koike, violin, Tyran Ferone Jr., cello, and Emily Roman, piano. Bravo. Very, very beautiful performance. What an intense work. It's really Allegro, energico, has a lot of energy, and they have a lot of energy in their playing too. That was really great. I'm so glad that the students are getting to work, uh, getting to know works by composers such as Paul Bowles and Manuel Maria Ponce too, who don't get performed very often. It's really great to see the students studying this course. It's really fantastic. And the next composer is quite the opposite because he's pretty standard, especially among brass musicians, brass players. Uh, Eugène Bozza is the next composer, and we're gonna hear his ballad for trombone and piano, written in 1944. The performers will be Matthew Mantione on the trombone and Sabina Marra on the piano. Just a little information is very interesting to point out that most of the material that Bozza uses on his ballad, it's actually extracted from orchestral excerpts. So don't be surprised if you hear some familiar melodies, especially for those who know well the orchestral repertoire. So by Eugène Bozza, Ballad for Trombone and Piano. I just noticed that you didn't hear what I said. I was just saying that had I was running into some technical issues with my screen share, and now I think I'm gonna be able to share the correct piece. Just one second. Sorry about that. Excellent performance. Bravo. Really great work and so well performed. So now we're going to present another French composer, but we're going to go back in time from 1944 to 1906. That was when the trio Opus 27 in B minor by composer Edouard Destenay was composed. And so you're gonna hear the second movement of this trio, which is called Andante non troppo, and the players are Xinye Feng on the oboe, Atsushi Ouchi clarinet, and Emily Roman on the piano. Beautiful performance. Thank you. That was Andante non troppo from Trio, Opus 27 in B minor by Edouard Destenay, French composer who wrote the work in 1906. Another French composer, and this time from the 19th century, guitar composer Napoleon Coste, who is very important for guitar players. His works are really part of the guitar literature. Important works. And we're gonna hear Coste's work for oboe and guitar, which is a type of ensemble which I think is one of the first to write for. And most of his works for oboe and guitar are also pretty standard for that type of ensemble, and we're gonna hear one of the most famous ones. So Les Montagnarde for oboe and guitar, and the performers are Xinye Feng oboe and Kristal Rojas de Leon on the guitar. It's a beautiful work, very expressive too. I hope you enjoy it. Great job. What a lovely performance of a very beautiful work. Now we go all the way back to the Renaissance, and we're gonna present a composer that is not so well known for many people, musicians included. So his name is Tobias Hume, or as some would refer to him as Captain Tobias Hume, because he was um, also a soldier. Uh, Hume is very interesting because his music now has been more and more uh, transcribed for guitar and guitar ensembles, but mostly because he, as a viol player, and viol again is the instrument that shares many similarities with both the cello and the guitar. So it's a six-stringed instrument and it's played vertically but with a bow, and also again it has this it shares the similarities with the guitar that they both instruments have six strings, but also it's an instrument that has movable frets, pretty much like the lute. And Tobias Hume wrote music for consort of viols, and those instruments they used to come in different sizes, also pretty much like violin, viola, and violoncello. And the piece or the pieces you're gonna hear now by Tobias Hume come from his collection called Captain Hume's Poetical Music, and as I said, written for viol. And this work was freely arranged for four guitars, for guitar quartet, by Gilbert Biberian, who entitled his arrangement Intavolatura. And intavolatura means the practice of Renaissance musicians to transcribe vocal music to be performed on instruments like the lute. And the process was called intabulation, and that's where the word intavolatura comes from. And that's pretty much what Gilbert Biberian or Biberian, Gilbert Biberian did, which was he transcribed music from a consort of viols and transposed to four guitars. And he made a very, very beautiful and interesting orchestration for the four guitars. And you're gonna hear two pieces. The first one is Masque, and the second one is entitled Sweet Music, or another name for the second piece is The Earl of Salisbury Favorite. And the performers are Kristal Rojas de Leon, Kevin Veles, Michael Nowotarski, and myself. I had the privilege to work with my students, and it was a great experience for me. We had a lot of fun working together. We also got a very good exchange of ideas. It was interesting because I got to learn a lot about how they think when they're playing music together, and I could be not only in the role of coaching, but of a coach, but also they were my chamber music partners. That was pretty interesting, and I learned a lot from the experience. So, by Tobias Hume, Intavolatura. First movement, Masque, and second movement, Sweet Music. Arranged for four guitars by Gilbert Biberian. That was by Tobias Hume, Intavolatura, in two movements. First, Masque, and second, Sweet Music. Uh, Very beautiful work, and it sounds so great in four guitars. I I loved playing this piece. Such a great arrangement. Uh, so we're approaching the end of our program. The next piece is by the great Cuban composer Leo Brouwer, one of the most important living composers for classical guitar. And Leo Brouwer wrote this quintet in 1958 when he was only 19 years old. And it's a wonderful work. It's scored for flute, oboe, clarinet, cello, and guitar. And the quintet will perform only the first movement, Allegro moderato. And the players are Pamela Reno on the flute, Adam Schorr on the oboe, Atsushi Ouchi on the clarinet, Michael Nowotarski on the guitar, and Professor Clare Monfredo on the cello. By Leo Brouwer, quintet, first movement, Allegro moderato. Bravo! Such a wonderful performance of a very challenging work, especially like uh, putting together like that split screen is really difficult, but they did a fantastic job. And it's so great to hear Leo Brouwer's music throughout like the years because he's still uh, composing right now, but that's his early period, and we hear a lot of influence from the Cuban folk music, especially in this early compositions in this quintet. We hear that influence a lot. Great, great work. Now the last piece in our program, and before I announce that, I just want to say one more time, thank you so much for my colleagues, coaches, uh, Dr. Jackson and Professor Clare Monfredo, who just played the cello in the Brouwer Quintet. They did an amazing work, as you can see, coaching the groups. And also to my great uh, technical support, Maleka Holder and Jacob Sachs Michelin. And great work we did together. Thank you so much. And also, I'm really, really happy with the all the performances and the great work that all the students they were able to present. They worked very diligently and they were also very focused, and they were really committed to this program. Each group like working really hard on their repertoire, on their own parts, and also learning about how to improve on their recordings that they were doing from home with the uh, equipment that they had. But everything came together beautifully, and I'm really, really grateful for all this work. It was such a great closure to our fall semester. Thank you, guys. So, the last piece in our program today is going to be the sextet by the great composer from Spain, one of my favorite composers actually, Manuel de Falla, who wrote this piece in 1924, which is called Psyche or Psyche, and it's for an ensemble of 6 players, and we have mezzo soprano, we have flute, we have harp, we have violin, viola, and cello. So the players are mezzo-soprano Kurie Kurihara, flute Natalie Ward, harp Catherine Sexton, violin Teresa Pietromonaco, viola Pamela Heno, and cello Tyran Ferone Jr. And that's a very beautiful piece, very difficult also to put together. We rehearsed quite a lot, and it was very intense. Everyone got to know like the piece very well and each other's parts too. But I think so you'll see it has like some, it's such a very, it's a very delicate piece regarding like the textures and like how the composer uses the instruments. It's a beautiful orchestration. And regarding the style, of course, Manuel de Falla is a Spanish composer who, for the most part, write Spanish music. But here we're gonna hear, especially we're talking about 1924, and he also, of course, he was very close to Debussy, and we hear, especially in this piece, not only because of the harmony and melodic content, but also the instrumentation. We hear like it was very influenced by Debussy's Sonata for harp, viola, and flute, which De Falla himself loved so much. So that's our last piece in the program today. I hope you guys are enjoying this beautiful program. And yes, thank you very much. Manuel de Falla, Psyché for sextet. Bravo. What a wonderful performance and what a great piece. So that's it for us today. Thank you all so much and Merry Christmas. Bye bye. Thank you.